I'm Aaron, and this is Christina, and we are from Podcast Services Australia, and today is our Tuesday tip.
Yay! We love Tuesday tips.
Today we'll be talking about the difference between radio and podcasting.
And this is quite a big topic, so we'll be dividing this up into 2 videos. So this is part 1 of why radio is different to podcasting.
The first thing that makes a big difference between radio and podcasting is niche versus mass appeal. You turn on the radio. Back in the day, everybody listened to radio. It's
for everyone and anyone who has a radio.
Yeah, and they would play terrible pop music.
They still do play
unless you're
terrible
into pop music. And you know, it's essentially that they feed you whatever they want to feed you. Ads, this, that, the other. A podcast is more niche. It's you deciding on what you want to listen to, and when you want to listen to it. And
many podcasts have a really, really niche audience. So as a podcaster, you can choose how niche you want to go. You could say, I want to talk to business owners in their 40s, or single parents, or dog owners of Labradoodles, or knitting enthusiasts who live in Iceland. I don't know. You can get as niche as you want.
We recently did a podcast for a financial person who essentially helps people do endurance events, athletics, running, biking, all around the world. And it's purely interviewing people who do those events and how you can save the money and make sure that you can go all around the world and do them.
So very, very niche.
Very niche. But, you know, he's found a great audience. It's heightened his visibility in the space. Works for him.
So that's one of the differences between podcast and radio. What's the second one you want to talk about today?
I guess it's about on-demand versus fixed.
Okay.
So on-demand essentially means that you decide when you want to listen to the content. Whereas if you want to listen to Hamish and Andy, it's 4 to 6 in the afternoon. You know, that's the way it works. Even though they do have podcasts. They do have a podcast.
Yeah. Well, a lot of radio shows now have podcasts, but traditionally radio,
podcasts are done for the podcasting community, and just redeveloping the content and calling it a podcast doesn't really make it a podcast. Some people maybe think it does. We'd love to hear your opinion of that. Yeah. But for us, it's about speaking to your audience, you know.
Yep. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
One more thing is about the authenticity of the host.
Yes.
I'm sure you've all heard radio hosts come on and do their radio voice and try to sell you and talk about what's going to be great.
Welcome to the Christina and Aaron show today on 99.5, and today we're going to be talking about this.
And we'll do those zinging sounds and all that kind of jazz.
Back to the show. A few words from our sponsors.
Yes. Where a podcast is about authenticity. It's about knowing your subject matter, and it's about letting people know that you're an authority in the space.
Yeah.
A radio show is not about that. A radio show is about selling things. It's about pushing music. It has a larger goal.
Yeah. So bringing that authenticity to your podcast is something that will make your podcast stand out and help it to be successful as well. And a lot of people feel like when they speak on a podcast, they have to put on this radio presenter voice, when really people want to hear you. They want to hear Christina or Aaron just saying, "Hi, how are you? I want to share a story with you today, or share something that I went through, or something I've learned." You know, that's what we want to hear. So that's a big difference between podcasting and radio. So I hope that that's, you know, opened your eyes up a bit more as to what the differences, you know, can be and what a podcast could do for you or your organization. And we'll be back next week with part 2 of the differences between podcasting and radio.
See you next week.
See you next week.